You are now listening to Femme podcast with Tessa Markle
and Carolina Alvarez.
Femme.
Welcome back, listeners. So, for our last episode...
It's our last episode of season 2.
Yes.
We just want to thank you guys so much for listening to us, first of all. And second of all, if you aren't subscribing, how dare you?
Just do it already.
Just do it already. No, we really love we've read the comments so far that we've gotten, the feedback, and it's been so nice. It's nice to see that you guys are learning something and, kind of like us. So that's cool.
Exactly.
That's what's up.
It's good to be liked.
Yeah. The best for the last, as they say. We have in the studio Miss Tayler Braash.
Yay.
Hey. She's like, hi.
That introduction. Oh, my goodness.
Well, Tayler is a professional editor, and we found her on, we found her on freethebid.com, which we talked about in the last episode. Hires a lot of female editors, directors, cinematographers, all kinds of stuff. And we liked her style. We like what she did. So thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. And yes, Free the Bid. They're doing Free the Work too right now. Like they're on it. I'm loving them.
How did you come to know them?
I found them online.
Awesome.
And I love what they do. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. And I asked them, I was like, hey, this is me. This is my work. Would you consider putting me on their website? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. Give us your stuff. And they put me on there. It was awesome.
That's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
Do you get a lot of work through them?
I just put my profile up this year.
Oh, okay.
And I've had 2 people reach out to me. I've been too busy, unfortunately, to
that's
start
a good
new
problem to
work.
have, though.
It is a good problem to have.
That's amazing.
But I mean, just the fact that I've gotten 2 things out of that is just amazing. You put your work out there all the time. I've got a website. You've got your LinkedIn. You're on all these profiles, and all of a sudden I do this, and it was just amazing.
Yeah,
and I loved it. And everybody that I've met so far have been really strong women from it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So check out the website, guys, if you haven't been on there yet, especially if you're based in LA like we are. Great place to hire female filmmakers.
Yeah.
Exactly. They do open it up, though, right, to other states, or no? I thought I could.
Different states, different countries.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I was
There's
pretty sure.
people in
Just
Canada,
in case you
London.
aren't in
Awesome.
LA, it is a great resource
Absolutely.
in general. So peeps, definitely check it out. There's some really badass women too if you're, trying to support.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. But Tayler, tell us your journey. Where did this...
Wait. Before we get into it, we got to talk about the tea of the day.
The most important thing, aside from Miss Tayler Braash.
So we have another Celestial Seasonings, which is I think they're probably our most popular tea that we bring on. Shout out Celestial. Thanks, guys. This is the peppermint flavor. Yeah, right? If you want to sponsor us, we're open to the idea.
Just open. We don't know nothing.
But I mean, contact us. This is their peppermint flavor. So it is caffeine free, but, peppermint is known to kind of
give you a little pep.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling that. I really am. On this gloomy. This is the first day of summer, right?
That's officially.
Right,
Summer
officially.
solstice.
But super gloomy.
But the worst.
Right?
It is raining and gloomy here in LA. Again, if you haven't, tuned in before, and this is your first time, we are located we're in LA, but we're in Culver City, specifically at the Network Studios, and gloomy days here. But okay, yes. Do you like tea? Are you a tea person?
I am a coffee person, but I enjoy tea.
Same.
Can't have coffee this late at night. So the tea is actually really nice.
It's great, right before bed,
soothing.
Something nice.
Exactly.
It's a nice little
something.
Exactly. So tell us your journey, Tayler. Where did you get this editing bug? What made you want to even explore that? Because you were telling us before briefly that you took some film classes, yeah? So where did that transition you to even the editing world?
So I started editing in high school, actually.
Oh, wow.
did musical theater when I was a kid, and I went to college for musical theater.
Us too. Okay.
So, you know, in high school, I wanted, you know, I was in front of the camera. And so if you wanted to be in front of the camera, you also had to take the lessons on how to cut what you were shooting. So I learned a little bit then. And then when I went to college, I studied musical theater, and I took an acting for the camera class where we had to shoot and edit our own stuff. And I found that I was the only person in the class that knew how to edit.
Yeah.
So I started editing more in school, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll take a few more classes. I ended up minoring in film, not in editing in particular. They didn't really have like just like a strong editing class. You know, it wasn't a film school. I went to Kent State Fullerton, not too far from here, in Orange County.
OC, baby.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to go too far from home, but it's just far away enough from home.
I did the same thing, hour away from home.
Yeah. But yeah, and then the classes that I took in college, nobody else really wanted to edit the pieces. So I was like, well, I know how to edit. I'll edit the pieces. And then
Were you like charging people under the
I
table?
should have,
Girl.
right? I should have. No, and then, you know, I just kept doing it. I stopped everything else that I was doing, and I kept picking up more editing work and more editing work. And, you know, my first real job was I had a post PA job for ABC, this show called what was it, 9 Lives of Chloe King or something like that. And I got that as a referral. Somebody came to one of my classes and was just guest speaker. And it was like a few hundred people. And I rose my hand and I was like making a joke, but I was like, hey, do you need an assistant editor?
Yeah.
And everyone was like laughing. And he was like, come see me afterwards. I was like, oh my gosh. And he gave me his card and he was like, why don't you come by and just take a look at the office? Like, I'm not looking for an assistant editor, but if you want to take a look at, you know,
What
how it
that
works.
looks like. Yeah.
Went and looked. It was so cool.
That's
I,
awesome.
at the time, was interning at Warner Brother Records. And so I asked my boss and he gave me a bunch of records and I sent it as a thank you.
Oh, that's
and,
awesome.
And I've been in contact with
girl.
this guy since then. And it's been years. And I've never worked with him, but he has referred me to so many jobs. It's like, it's the people that you know and keeping good contacts. And he referred me to my first AE job. And from there, that one company that I started assistant editing at kept me, and I edited them like for them for years. And that's how I became a professional editor. And it's just all about the people that you know and following up with it. And
But following up and staying, being present and being like, yes, I can do it.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
And like, that's people I feel like stop themselves or like laugh and joke like, why is she even? And it's like amazing that like totally. And yeah, exactly. He might not have hired you, but to open doors, even better, even better.
Yeah. And
he's a homie for life now.
It's exactly. And, you know, it's keep in contact with the people that you know, because you never know if something's going to come from that. They may know somebody that needs work and, you know, somebody else that needs work. It's like, it's so hard, especially in LA or in New York. It's so saturated to find work. Keep your contacts, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Because the good ones will always keep coming back.
Yeah.
It's like they say with acting too, like you might not book the job, but if you book the room, that's more important, you know?
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Exactly. Always book the room, y'all.
Exactly.
Just do that. And what does your office space now look like? Like where are you at? What are you doing?
My home.
Which is the best place
Which is
to
the
work.
best place
right?
to work.
Amazing.
It took a really, really long time, like I was saying earlier, to get people to really just trust you. And now I pretty much solely work from home freelance. There was a couple companies that I went to work for. You know, I was working for Vice for a little bit. I would go into Stun Creative and work in the office. But now I've been getting so much freelance work from home that I've just set up my home office. And my client is my dog. You know, I talk to my dog the most.
Yes, the best.
Yeah, I've just got, you know, my iMac. I've got my monitor. I've got a pile of drives of different clients and like different jobs that I'm working on. And I turn on a drive. I'm like, this
Mike's
one,
looking at me right now because he just hooked me up with like my now classified vintage late 2011 MacBook Pro, and now I got a solid state drive in there and it's working wonders, and I'm just gonna have to save up for that iMac Pro that costs $1 million bajillion, but it's totally worth it. Yeah, it's worth it, clearly. Right,
if it's your job, you want
the best.
Like I said, if it's a workhorse and you're depending on it, you need to make sure that you can depend on it.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike. Yes, he's like, preach. That is so cool though, that's where you're at and that's what you can do. And I I would love to get there. Yeah. That is so cool to hear. And that I think we were talking outside a bit, and you've also really just kind of self-taught your way through it. So like, tell us about that.
Sort
A
of,
little
yeah.
bit. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, you sort of do. So in college, it was Final Cut 7, and they taught you a little bit, but then, and as you go on, it's like you learn every time you edit a new job, I learn something new.
Yeah.
And everybody should be. It's like there's so many like different facets to like editing programs that it's like you can only scratch at the surface if you're just starting to edit.
right.
So Final Cut 7 was for a really long time what most people were using. Then that, they decided to change it, and I had to learn Premiere. Everyone started going to Premiere or Avid, and I was like, well, there's no way I want to learn Avid.
Same.
Avid's clunky. Well, I then I ended up taking a course on Avid.
Yeah.
I took a certification course on Avid because all television is an Avid.
Exactly.
And as an editor, you should know every single program except Final Cut X. So yes, I taught myself Premiere. Avid, I was like, there's no way I could teach myself Avid. And even taking like online courses, I couldn't do it. That is such a beautiful beast of a program. But Premiere is so user friendly. There's so much free content online to learn.
Yeah.
So take it, get
That's
used
really
to it.
cool.
And I just, I told you I edited something on DaVinci recently. DaVinci's also getting its way up there.
Totally.
I didn't want to. I was so like, no, I'm just going to stay in Premiere and Avid. And I was forced to kind of do it in DaVinci. Now I'm so happy I learned it. I was like, wow, there's so many cool things that you can do.
Yeah.
So which one's your favorite now at this point that you've kind of
It's still Premiere because
dabbled?
I'm so
Okay.
much faster in it. Like, I could do so much so quickly. Once you can learn something, and I'm sure I'll start to really enjoy DaVinci because I've just started coloring as well. I just recently finished coloring a short that was in the Silicon Beach Festival.
Nice.
I love coloring in DaVinci, so I'm like, well, I may as well just learn how to do it all in one program. That way, it's just more seamless.
Yeah.
And all your bases are covered that way too. And,
yeah.
But yeah, the depth that I've been told too. Yeah, the depth you can do in DaVinci is amazing.
It is
So I
amazing.
want to learn.
Yeah.
I want to learn that too. That's amazing.
Take the courses. It's so fun. Learning is fun.
Yeah, you were saying outside LinkedIn.
LinkedIn has they do courses. I think it's kind of like lynda.com. They have, and they're pretty nerdy. Like they're not like the best to watch. Some of the YouTube ones can be a little more fun.
Right.
They're pretty dry, but you're learning.
Right.
I mean, it can't all be fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, tell our listeners, because we got to, look at your profile, your website and all that. So tell our listeners like what kind of work you've done and what your favorite kind of stuff is to do. And like, do you have a certain style that
She
you
kind
really
of
like
had a
to
vibe
do?
on Free Bid. I call it was a little edgy, right?
Did I have a vibe?
Yes, you had a vibe, girl. I remember you. That's why I remember.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I started out in the documentary world. And so I right now love doing scripted because I've done so much documentary. And I love documentary, but I hate documentary all at the same time because it's so much more work to have to like build something and start from this like fresh little baby and make it your own. And then all of a sudden a bunch of people have their other hands on it and then it turns into something new and you're just like, but what? And I'm like, maybe this is like preparing me for like having kids or something. I don't know. But, I love documentary because you get to create something out of nothing. Whereas like, I'm really enjoying scripted because then you can really just use your intuition to like, you have the tool there already, like the script. And then you can go, how else can I make this fun rather than starting from scratch? But I like shorts. I like sizzles. As I said, I interned at Warner Brother Records, so I'm fueled by music. Anytime I get an edit, I'm like, so what kind of music are you thinking about putting into this?
That's
I'm very melodic with my edits. I just did
Love it.
I did an edit recently with a director of mine that I've worked with multiple times. Her name's Ali Cuerdo. What up? She's an amazing director, and she was like, I've got this fashion piece. I want to get it scored. I don't really know. Like, I kind of want this music. How about we edit it with no music? There's no dialogue. There's nothing. And so her and I sat there in silence, just like cutting this. And every once in a while, I'd be moving and I'd do a quick cut quick. And then eventually throughout the day, we started moving together and stopping things at the same time. And it's like you can feel the edit and the movement through it. So I like things with music. I do like quicker cuts. That's probably what you were saying there. I was like, I like, I've found recently that I'm not like a super social editor. So it's like, so many things thrown at you at once that it's like very, what is it? It's just a lot to look at.
Yeah.
Which I like to watch, but I haven't found that I like to edit that. I think I'm much more melodic person, which maybe is why I did musical theater. I don't know.
Yeah.
It all ties
Coming
in.
from your
It all
roots.
ties in.
Yeah. Musical theater. But I love, so talk a little bit more about working with a client and how that looks like for our listeners who aren't trying to be editors, but got to get in the space and work with one. What are do's, don'ts that you could maybe give some advice on?
Let's see. There are lots of different people out there. Learn to adapt. Know your boundaries and know your ground. Know when to stand firm, but also know that if somebody has hired you to do something, it's their project as well, and they're the boss. So eventually you have to give in on certain things, but be respectful. Even if other people start to get angry, like always keep your cool. There's gonna be lots of different types of people out there, lots of different personalities, and to meet, go out there and meet them, and it's good to know, who you like and don't like working with. Once you worked with somebody and you realize you don't like working with them anymore, the beauty is you don't have to work with them again.
Yeah.
Just get through that one job, but don't burn the bridge, because it's a tight knit community out there.
Do you get people who are like revision, or how does that look like for you?
There will be. I've had a few jobs where they think they know what they want, and then you give them that, and then they've changed it completely, and it's incredibly frustrating. And you hope that you get paid by the day. So if they want to keep doing those revisions, and they're going to keep paying for it. But a lot of times they're like, oh, but can we do this real quick? And it's
there's no real quick.
Yeah. It's never real quick. It's never. It's the balance.
Yes, Mike just held that. We call that show and tell.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man. And do you feel that most of your clients, for our independent filmmakers out there, what's that conversation generally looking like? They don't have the largest budget in the fucking world, and beep, and and they of course they're paying though. They're still paying because you got to pay for something good, right? But what is the best way they can reach out to an editor and in a concise way without having to do so many revisions? Like, what's the smartest way for them to communicate? Because we had our input, but I'm curious, what does that dialogue look like?
Well, I'll say one of my favorite producers who somehow gets me to do more work, is not like schmooze, but be nice. Don't just say in your email what you want. Say, hey, how's your day going?
Yeah.
How was last week's event? Like, really, if once you start talking to a person on a personal level, then they'll want to do things with you and for you. So it's like, if you're going to ask somebody to do something that you don't think they're going to want to do, try and ice it up. Like, try and put some sugar on it, sugarcoat it in some way.
Love.
I get asked all the time to do favors, and the people who I know and I care about that ask me to do the favors, I'm going to do the favors for them. I'll take a lower budget if you can't do it because I like working with you. And, know that if you're going to be the person that's going to ask somebody to do that, be the person that they like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amen.
totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
I personally too, I love the idea of giving an editor creative freedom because it's so when you see, these clips and you have the script in your mind and you're like, okay, well, we got to clip them together in this order. But then you discover what else could happen. It's amazing, where or how much, I guess, a project can change. Yeah. I was talking to a friend today, shout out to Dave. But he was saying that he worked with an editor a few times that would always give him multiple alternate endings, on every project that he worked with him with. And that's such a cool thing to be able to see that in the footage and no, here's the script, this is what it's supposed to be, but to be able to see those other options too. I think that's such a cool thing. And I don't have a brain for that at all. I admire that editors can see something and see the potential in it,
Nice.
Yeah. And find that rhythm too, which is do you often speak with the directors and be like, okay, what's the rhythm you're looking for and the color scheme? Do they give you all of that beforehand?
Most of the time they're not gonna give you all that, and they're not gonna. If they have it, I'll ask for the world, right? I'll ask for it all, and then I'll see what they can give me. I'm at least give me a script, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes with documentary, they're just go through it, see what you can get out of it and make it happen. And, you know, I like having that freedom, but I also like structure. I'm very structured. So I'm like, give me what I need. Give me the music. If you've got a vision, tell me your vision. Because even though like you're like, oh, put your work on it. Like, I'm going to put my work on it no matter what. I'm going to add whatever I add to it, but I want to know what you want out of it first. So when somebody just goes, oh, just do whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that. This is a project that you started from the beginning, which means you had an idea of what you wanted it to be in the beginning.
What would you say too is like the most difficult part of editing, like as a career in general? Is there anything like you don't like about it or that frustrates you?
It's tough. Like I said, when doing maybe like unscripted work, to make something and then have it change so drastically sometimes. Yeah. Like you can make something and somebody will be like, actually, no, and tear it completely apart. You know, it's rare that happens, but you know, that sometimes can be a bit crushing when you give your all. You're like, I'm so happy about this product. And they're like, no, we're going to completely turn it around. Yeah. I guess the other thing is being freelance. You know, it's feast or famine. Yeah. Right now, you know, it's great. I've been busy and I love it. But there were times where I was just like, am I ever going to work again? Yeah. What am I doing? So, you know, keep positive, keep at it. You know, get a side job every once in a while if you need to, but don't quit. There's work out there. There's so much work out there. Yeah. Yeah.
That's really cool to hear. And like, again, see you doing it freelance in your home with your dog. Yeah. What kind of dog do you got?
She's a little terrier poodle mix.
Oh, precious.
Well, before we wrap up, actually, I have one more question before we wrap up too. Is there any project or any like type of project that you've never done yet that you would like to? Ooh. Or someone that you would want to work with or anything like that?
That's a good question.
Just thought of that one.
I know. I don't
like that.
I don't know off the top of my head anybody in particular that I would want to work with. Type of project. I've decided I've got like a semi 5-year plan, right? Like I just did a feature last year. I'm doing a feature this year. I'm like, I want to do a feature a year. I want to do, I don't know, maybe I did a bit of like a drama feature last year. Did a documentary feature the year before that. Maybe I want to do like a comedy feature, like maybe what is it, like not like Marvel, but like an action one. I've never, you know, I haven't done an action before. Yeah, I don't know. I want to try it all. I want to see what I really enjoy.
Nice, mix it up.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of like? Do you know how to do all that graphic-y,
like special effects?
Thank you.
Graphics and special effects. Those are masterful people, masterminds.
I know.
And people, you know, it's good to know those things. Like I can open up After Effects and I know how to work it. Yeah. But I'm by no means a graphic artist. Like I don't have that vision. It's a total, like, I don't think my brain works in the creative way like that. I think I'm a very structured person. I think they're amazing.
I agree.
I wish I knew what to do.
Crazy.
I'm like, edit.
Yeah. But totally. I was just curious. But we're putting that into the universe. Action.
Yes.
Tech.
Hopefully I like it. If I get it, I'm going to come back to this podcast and be like, I didn't like it, guys.
Well, at least you know that either way. You know.
Yeah. Well, to be continued.
Yeah. Well, tell our listeners then how they can like find your work, find you to hire, and, you know, follow you if you have like a social media you'd like to share, any of that kind of stuff.
You can find me on my website, TaylerBraash.com. Good luck spelling it. I'm not even going to bother spelling it here.
It's Braasch. That's why we're here. So, and Tayler is nothing crazy. It's literally Tayler. Don't you forget it.
Social media, I'm a pretty closed off person. I'm an editor. Okay. You guys, I sit in a dark room by myself all day. So you won't find me on social media, but I'm a fun person.
Yeah, she is. We can vouch for that.
Yes, we can. She's awesome. And again, free the bid too. Yeah. So check her work out there. It's really amazing, you guys. And we're so happy that you took the time.
Yes, thank you so much.
Lovely meeting you. You're so lovely.
Thank you. No, you two are amazing. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in all season.
Yes.
Hope you learned something. Hope you had fun with us.
Always. And we cannot wait to drop season 3. So
we'll see you next time.
I guess we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Femme Regard Podcast. If you like what you hear, tune in next time for more tips on the filmmaking business and insightful conversations with industry professionals over tea. We can only grow with your support, so please subscribe, share, rate, and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. If you leave us a great comment, we might give you a shout out on the show. For more on us, check us out at femregard.com.